support a statement that we have by using quotations to cite information from the textbook, and we're going to do this in the correct format. So how we're going to do this is we're going to go to the classwork tab. I'm going to click on that. Go to your classes, go to the classwork tab. I'm going to go to the textbook here. I'm going to open it with Cami. I'm going to make sure I can type on that. Make sure you have a copy of it. If you don't already have a copy, go ahead and try to use the text box on there. And if you can't type on it, it'll say create a copy, and I want you to create your own copy. So I'm on page 39. You notice it's 39 here in the textbook. It is not 39 according to Cami. This is your new, it's chapter 2 uploaded all by itself. So according to Cami, this is only page 6, but in your textbook, it's actually page 39. So that's important to know. For in just a minute, you're going to be uploading this citations sheet. So click on that, and then you should have this. You'll open it with Cami, and the first thing is on there, it says it's page 39 is where you'll find the answer. It says the Nile River is the longest river in the world. So that's the statement that I have. I've got to find a supporting piece of information from the textbook that's going to support that statement. So now I'm going to go back to the textbook. I'm going to listen until I find, and I know that this is about right in this area, so at least I'm going to skip a little bit for you. So I'm going to hit play.
Hunters and food gatherers moved into the green Nile River Valley from less fertile areas of Africa and Southwest Asia. They settled down, farmed the land, and created several dozen villages along the riverbanks. These people became the earliest Egyptians. A mighty river. Although Egypt was warm and sunny, the land received little.
Now remember, we're actually looking for a supporting thing that supports the Nile River is the longest river in the world. So that's what we're listening for.
Rainfall. For water, the Egyptians had to rely on the Nile River. They drank from it, bathed in it, and used it for farming, cooking, and cleaning. The river provided fish and supported plants and animals. To the Egyptians then, the Nile was a precious gift. They praised it in a song. Hail, O Nile, who comes from the earth, who comes to give life to the people of Egypt. Even today, the Nile inspires awe. It is the world's longest river, flowing north from the heart of Africa to the Mediterranean Sea. This is a distance of some 4,000 miles, 6,437 kilometers.
Okay, right there. That supports what my statement is. My statement, remember, is the Nile River is the longest river in the world. So this says it is the world's longest river flowing north from the heart of Africa to the Mediterranean Sea. This is a distance of some 4,000 miles, 6,437 kilometers. So I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to hit Control-C to copy it. I'm going to go over to my citations page, click on the text box, and, okay, I haven't created a copy for myself. I need to create a copy. See, it won't let you write in there unless you have a copy created for yourself. So I'm going to hit the text box. I'm going to type in, first my statement is the Nile River is the longest river in the world. Now this is where it gets tricky. Instead of ending with a period, because I have a whole sentence statement here, I'm going to go ahead and put a colon in there. This is the way we properly cite from the textbook if we have a whole sentence statement. So I'm putting a colon in there. I'm going to hit 2 spaces. And since this is a quotation, I'm showing this is not my work. This is a work from somebody else. I'm going to put quotation marks in there. So I'm going to hit Shift and then the quotation marks. Now remember that I copied that chunk of the textbook that supports that statement. So now I'm going to hit Control-V, and that's going to put it in there. Notice that this is kind of out of whack, so I'm going to try to fix that by going beside this T here. I'm going to backspace, and then I'm going to go over here beside this T. I'm going to backspace, and I see there's some still missing, so I'm going to go like that. So now There it is. That is my whole thing that I would like to copy from the book, but I also want to give credit to the author. So I'm going to show that this is a quotation by ending with quotation marks. I'm going to hit a parentheses. I'm going to type the person's last name. Make sure I spell it correctly here. I got this from the cover of the book, and then I looked inside of the textbook and I saw that there is one author, and his name is Spilvogel, or something like that. So I'm going to type that in, and then I'm also going to give the publication date. This is when it was copyrighted, so I'm putting that in, parentheses, period. Now, that shows, I can do it like this, it looks even better. That shows that this is my statement. The Nile River is the longest river in the world. And then here is the supporting details. It is the longest river flowing north from the heart of Africa to the Mediterranean Sea. This is a distance of some 4,000 miles, 6,437 kilometers. And then I end with quotes. I'm showing that that is not my writing, that this was my writing, not that. And then I'm telling who actually wrote that. So I'm correctly citing that. So now what you'll do, you'll have that one. I'm going to do the next one here. It says the Nile River starts out as two rivers. So I'm going to go ahead and listen for where something supports my statement. The Nile River starts out as two rivers. I'm going to go back to the textbook. I'm just showing you how to do this so that way you can pick two that you'd like to do, and you will do it correctly in the proper format.
Traveling the length of the Nile would be like going from Atlanta, Georgia to San Francisco, California, and then back again. The Nile begins as two separate rivers. One river, the Blue Nile, has its source in the mountains of eastern Africa. The other, the White Nile, starts in marshes in Central Africa. The two rivers...
All right, I think that right there was pretty good, and it explains that. Let me look back at my statement. The Nile River starts out as two rivers is the statement that I'm using, and now here is my proof from this textbook. It says the Nile begins as two separate rivers. One river, the Blue Nile, has its source in the mountains of eastern Africa. The other, the White Nile, starts in the marshes in Central Africa. I think that right there, watch what you do, that you don't copy everything. Right there really supports my statement. So I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to hit Control-C to copy it. And then I'm going to go to my citation sheet here. I'm going to type in my statement, which is the Nile River. Make sure you capitalize its first and last name. Starts out as two rivers. Now remember, since this is a citation and I'm doing a whole statement here, I'm going to put a colon. So I'm going to hit the Shift button and then the colon, a couple spaces behind it, hit my quotation mark, Shift button, quotation mark, and then I'm going to hit Control-V as in violin, and that's going to put it all down there. I'm going to straighten it up because we know that whenever we copy these, they kind of can look messed up. So I'm going to go beside the R in rivers here and backspace. Beside the S in source, A in Africa there. And then, yeah, that's pretty good. Let me straighten it up there, where you can see it a little better. Okay, so now this part is my quotation. So I've got to end that with a quotation mark to show that this is not my writing. I'm not claiming that it is. I am just borrowing it so that way I can prove that my statement is correct. So now I've got to give credit to the author. So the author's name, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Spilvogel. I am probably not. And then the publication date is 2005, parentheses, period. It's very important that you put the colon there after your statement, that you put the quotation marks where they belong, and then give credit where credit is due. That way you're showing that you're not the writer in this. If we put stuff word for word, then you need to give credit to the author. Actually, make sure when you do put your quotations in there, if you do type it out, that you do write it word for word. It needs to be 100% the same exact writing as the person wrote it. If you're putting quotes around it, you can't paraphrase or change some words in there. You've got to actually quote it 100%. So that's how you do that. Now what I'd like for you to do, you can take this, highlight your first one, hit Control-C and copy it, go to your classwork. I'm not as a student, so I'm going to change myself real quick. Sorry. Go in as a student account here. I'm going to go to my classwork. I'm going to go where it says type the 2 citations here. I'm going to open that up. So you can open up another text. Leave that citations page open so that way you can view question. Click Control-V. And then I actually put, that's messy. So you can fix them as you, that's one of them. I'm going to go to the next. Okay, so I've got part of it. So now I'm going to do the other part, and that is here. I'm going to copy and paste this part. So I'm going to hit Control-C. I go to my 2 citations. I'm going to go ahead and skip a space down. That way it shows that this is the second citation. And then once I've got it all in there, then I'll hit Turn In. And that's how you do it. Now, if you find out that you put something in there wrong and you want to edit it, you can click the Edit button. Until I grade it, you can edit it. So if this thing's worth 20 points, that's a decent amount of a grade. So make sure that you do this correctly, that you put in your colon, and then that you put in your quotation marks. You quote it at the end of the quote, and then, of course, you put your parentheses with the author's name, a comma in between the date it was published and the author's name, parentheses, and a period at the end. That's important that you do this the correct way. So good luck on this, and we'll do more citations later. This will make you a better writer. I'm excited about it.